I'm here with our amazing Dan Steele, one of our Academy Inner Circle members in Assets for Life. He is showing me around his amazing assets he has created. We're going to dive into this right away because we can't wait to share all these golden nuggets with you. Dan, now that we're in this amazing opportunity that you have created yourself, I want you to inspire all our audience on how do you found this opportunity. Let us know how you got beyond, because I want people to understand that it didn't come like that, right? In a heartbeat. You have to create this opportunity. So how you found this opportunity, how do you make it work, first of all?
So for me, finding this opportunity, to be real honest, was, understanding different strategies in the property industry. So I am a rent-to-rent service accommodation provider. So I have Airbnb type service accommodation units, but now understanding what I understand through the education for Assets for Life, I'm always looking at everything as an opportunity. So, I have other different strategies that I use within the property industry, but this one is something totally different. It's a commercial property with commercial businesses, and it was something that I stumbled along. This was originally my brother's unit.
Oh, wow.
He was looking to immigrate overseas, so he's now traveling abroad, and he was looking to give it up. So I stumbled across it, obviously understood that, he was going to give the property up, and realised that there was an opportunity from the education that I've learned from you guys. So what I then done was I started to understand the numbers for the business and obviously the unit itself, and realised that there was an opportunity because of the costs that were involved. From that, I really started to understand what I could convert this into. So I started looking into, originally it was, service accommodation units. I understood that I needed certain planning permission to be able to do that, being a commercial unit. So I started toying around with loads of ideas. And obviously understanding this area very well, because it's not far from my hometown, understanding the kind of industry that my brother was in previously, being a barber, kind of the demand that he had for people renting rooms. I really just started to educate myself in that kind of sector, started to reach out to local businesses, understand, the rents that they were paying for the businesses and stuff like that, and saw a big gap in the market for smaller businesses, that are looking to become established, looking for a base, then potentially to grow on. Realised that that was quite a high demand in this particular area. So I obviously started to calculate figures, started to analyse figures from there, and really understood that this could become a profitable business if I implemented certain things. And what I saw with a building like this, I was able to, put a few stud walls up and convert certain areas for certain different businesses that gives them their own private space. And not only that, it creates like a community for the type of industry that they're all in, so the businesses are growing from each other. And once I understood that, I knew it was an investment opportunity for myself.
So then what happened was you found, obviously through your brother, but you have to negotiate with the vendor, right?
Yes, of course.
With the owner. What do you do to get that person over the line?
So it was something that, we had to go and explore, have those conversations with the property owner. And of course, he was just looking to rent it out to businesses as he normally would do. But this is kind of something a bit different. Obviously, I'm kind of subletting the building. I rent the building from the lease owner and then I sublet. So of course, we had to negotiate that deal. We had to give him a good understanding on what we were doing, make sure that we've got the right contracts in place and the right agreements. I was able to secure a 2.5-year contract as a bit of a start-off contract, and that is going to be rolling into the 5-year contract. So we're here for the foreseeable. That was something that I stated very early on, because of the refurb costs and so on. I wanted to make sure it was a profitable business. And we negotiated the deal and of course secured it with the right contracts.
Amazing. So then once that secured, then obviously you did your research really well.
Yes.
You found that there is more businesses that needed this type of space, which is actually really good. And you just went for it. So did the conversion, let's say, or the splitting the units in smaller units. So talking now numbers, what's your return on the investment? How much money you put in? And what's your return right now after you've done the conversion?
So the conversion, we kept costs very low because, it was part of my family that helped me out and I was again involved, sort of utilising materials and, doing my own research on that. So we was able to keep the refurb cost very low at £9,000. Okay. It's just under 9,000, but just rounding it off to the, sort of 9,000 figure. And from that, I'm able to generate 255% return on investment.
Wow.
So massive return on investment.
Amazing. In other words, for those 9,000, you generating 20 £3,000?
Over £23,000 profit on a yearly basis, yes,
Okay.
of course.
What you basically build here is an asset that gives you 255% return on your investment. That's amazing, okay? Relatively low risk as well. And you get your money back in 6 months, and after 6 months, it's infinite return, right?
Yeah, so the investment that we invested, we're looking to get that back within 6 months. That is only at the minute, I've got the building 80% occupied, so I still have a 20% to fill, and obviously that will generate extra profit. But as it stands at the moment, we're 80% occupied and recuperate that money within 6 to 7 months.
Great. So now moving on. So now 80% occupancy gives you that return, which is great, relatively low risk. So tell us about the lessons more in detail, what you learned throughout this process.
So for me, certainly with this particular project, one thing that, with it sort of coming from a family member and taking it on being the first project within the commercial industry, I would say some of the things I have learned, obviously using family members to keep the costs very low. Yeah. If I were to do it again, I would probably look to use a bit more specialist. Right. Reason being, we've created an amazing building, an amazing sort of business platform for the local businesses. But, potentially we could have got a bit more out of the unit. We could have made it a bit more fancy. We could have modernised it in certain ways, and obviously using the specialised trades to do that, we could have recuperated a bit more profit. And that's certainly something I would look into in the future. Right. And of course, spending my own time here physically doing some of the refurb myself, keeping the costs low, bit of a first project, hands-on. But for myself, if it was something I was to do in the future, just get the correct team in place, the right people in place. And of course, it's not going to distract me as the business owner away from other projects, which it did a little bit, but we've got through the back end of it now, and focusing my time where it needs to be now. Amazing.
And then now you have a proven strategy anywhere. So if you didn't have the £9,000, let's say, to start with, or even if you need more, if you're going to hire some of those trades, you can find it elsewhere.
Of course.
You can bring people in here and say, look, this is the vision for this new project, come on board. So you got a perfect, case of study here to show off what you have achieved, which is amazing, isn't it?
And I think the biggest thing for that, for me, like I said, I spent a lot of time, on site myself. So as much as it was a bit of a learning curve, not putting myself here, but in actual fact, being on site, going through the motions, understanding, dealing with builders as much as it was inside the family, being able to kind of coordinate all that together was a learning curve, but going forward, I'd make sure that I'm kind of looking outside in on the next project and focusing my time where it needs to be focused.
100%. Yeah. And to be honest, Dan, the fact that you were here doing the physical work, I used to do that myself. When I started, you learn a lot still.
Yeah, 100%.
Right?
Yeah.
And then you learn that, yes, it's sometimes good to outsource when you can, whenever possible, but sometimes it's good to do it yourself, so you know exactly how much time it takes, and you can go and hire people, more efficiently, because you know how long it takes.
Definitely.
And then you can had a very good understanding on the numbers, which is amazing. Right, so lessons learned, great, you shared that with us. Now moving forward, what's your strategy? Are you going to focus on more projects like this locally? Obviously, you have a really nice formula here, proven formula. What's in the horizon?
So in the horizon, something I haven't spoken to my mentors about to a degree, to be honest with you, but I've been, again, understanding the property industry, understanding certain strategies now. Something I have been looking at over the last couple of months, and I have a bit of an academy day with my mentors, with yourself on the 17th, so I'll be talking a bit more about that on the 17th. But I've been looking overseas, something I've been doing over the last sort of 6 months now, looking to ideally duplicate what I've got here in the UK overseas. And again, I'll be talking to my mentors in the near future. Sure. Understanding the market a bit more, and of course getting some advice from you guys, but that's not stopping me growing what I've got in the UK. At the minute, I'm really focusing in my time on really fine-tuning what I've got with obviously the rent-to-rent units that I've got, the serviced accommodation business. I mean, this is my first commercial conversion, ticking over very nice now. It's kind of just running itself. Obviously, I've got to look at occupying the last room, which we're quite confident in doing in the next month or two. But yeah, just really fine-tuning what I've got. One of my mentors mentor said, and you know, Liam Ryan's a great mentor of mine, part of the Assets for Life community, but he said, always look at going deeper rather than wider, you know, rather than getting more and more units, focus on what you've got and really just fine tune them. So that's some advice I've taken sort of around the back end of last year, beginning of this year, and I'm just making those tweaks now. Amazing. So that's my main focus at the moment.
Great. Hope you really enjoy watching this video, guys. Please subscribe somewhere in here on the screen to our channel. We love sharing the love, but you need to keep us going.